A suspect is in custody for the brutal killing of an East Texas woman and her unborn baby. New Boston police found the body of 21-year-old Reagan Simmons Hancock on Friday morning. Authorities say Hancock was 7.5 months pregnant when a woman killed her and removed her baby from her womb. The attacker showed up at a hospital in Oklahoma with the baby girl. Sadly, she did not survive. Authorities then arrested the suspected killer. Her name has not been released.
October 9, 2020. A Texas highway. A state trooper pulls over a woman driving erratically. She's performing CPR on a newborn baby. She tells him she just gave birth on the side of the road. The baby isn't breathing. She needs an ambulance now. The trooper notices something, an umbilical cord, running from the woman down into her pants. She says she was on her way to meet her husband at a hospital in Oklahoma. She says the labor happened too fast. She says she did everything she could. None of it is true. Because 30 miles away in New Boston, Texas, a 21-year-old pregnant woman is lying dead on her living room floor. She has been stabbed over 100 times. Her skull is fractured in 5 places, and her unborn baby has been cut from her body. The woman on the side of the road was her friend. The baby she was holding was not hers. And the person who pulled her over, that state trooper, had no idea he was standing 3 feet from one of the most disturbing killers Texas has ever seen. But what the trooper did not know, what no one knew yet, was that the real crime scene was still waiting to be found. And inside that house, there was a survivor. Reagan Simmons Hancock was 21 years old. She lived in New Boston, Texas, population 4,500, a town in the northeast corner of the state where everyone knows your name at the grocery store, the kind of place where a murder like this stops everything. She was 36 weeks pregnant with a daughter she'd already named Braxlyn Sage. Friends described Reagan as warm, not loud, not attention-seeking, but the person who noticed if you were uncomfortable, the one who'd pull you aside and ask if you were okay. She was already a mother, a 3-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. She was building a life, a husband, a home, a second child on the way. She met Taylor Parker in September 2019 at her own wedding. Taylor was the photographer. And here is the detail that becomes unbearable in retrospect. Taylor didn't just take the photos. She inserted herself into the celebration, appearing in wedding selfies, acting like a close friend from day one. Reagan welcomed her. That is who Reagan was. She welcomed people. She didn't know that the woman behind the camera had already been planning something for months. She did not know that Taylor Parker had a secret, one that made everything Reagan represented into something Taylor was desperate to take. Taylor Parker was 27 years old when she arrived in East Texas, and almost immediately, she started telling stories. She told people she came from oil money, that her grandmother's inheritance would make her a millionaire, that her mother was blocking it but it was coming, any day now. She met Wade Griffin, a local hog trapper, at a rodeo in July 2019. 3 months later, she moved in with him. 4 months later, she told him she was pregnant. Wade was cautious. "I like to take stuff slow," he said, "not just start jumping from dadding 1 month to I am already pregnant." But Taylor was already spending an $87,000 truck, cattle, off-road vehicles, a $4 million cash offer on a ranch in Oklahoma. She painted a future so big, so close, Wade wanted to believe it. The pregnancy became the centerpiece of everything. The baby bump on social media, the gender reveal party, the maternity photo shoots, the text updates. The performance was continuous, elaborate, devastatingly convincing. But here is what no one, not Wade, not his mother, not Reagan Simmons Hancock, knew. Taylor Parker had undergone a hysterectomy years earlier. She could not get pregnant. She had no uterus. The baby bump was a silicone prosthetic she ordered online. The ultrasound images were fakes, 10 months of pregnancy, all of it constructed. And now her due date had passed. The lies were collapsing, and Taylor Parker needed a baby. Wade's mother, Connie, was the first to push back. Something felt wrong. The pregnancy didn't look right. Taylor's stories kept shifting: the due date, the hospital, the delivery plan. She always had a counter, Connie said. Everything I presented, she countered it. Connie and a family friend, Stephanie, began quietly calling clinics, trying to verify what Taylor had told them, but health privacy laws blocked them at every door. Then Stephanie tracked down Taylor's mother directly. "I've been waiting on this phone call," Taylor's mother said. "Taylor cannot have kids. She's had a hysterectomy, and there is no money. There is no money at all anywhere. No oil fortune, no inheritance, no pregnancy, no truth." By this point, Taylor had already missed her due date by weeks. She told Wade the hospital had rescheduled her delivery to October 9, 2020. The same day Reagan Simmons Hancock was 36 weeks pregnant. The same day Reagan was home alone with her 3-year-old daughter. And what Taylor brought with her to Reagan's house that morning, the items recovered from her car from the scene, would reveal exactly how long she'd been planning this. On the morning of October 9, Taylor Parker drove to Reagan's house. She brought a knife. She brought a scalpel, the surgical kind. She may have brought a hammer. She had researched this. Her search history, recovered from her devices, told the story before anything else did. Order cheap pregnancy silicone belly, how to find a birth mother. Video of C-section, how to deliver a baby preterm at 35 weeks. She was not improvising. She was executing a plan. When Taylor arrived, Reagan let her in. Taylor was her friend, her wedding photographer, someone she'd known for over a year. There was no reason to be afraid. What happened next lasted minutes, but the forensic evidence shows Reagan fought. She moved through the house while being attacked from room to room, bleeding, trying to escape, trying to protect her unborn child. She did not make it. The autopsy told the story in numbers: 113 sharp force injuries, 15 stab wounds, 98 incised wounds, cutting wounds, the kind made by a blade drawn across skin, 39 blunt force injuries, a broken nose, 5 skull fractures, 2 knife wounds perforated the jugular vein. Some went deep enough to reach bone. The medical examiner's ruling: homicide from traumatic extraction from the uterus with both sharp and blunt force injuries. Taylor Parker had cut Reagan's baby from her body with a scalpel. Then she left Reagan on the floor and drove away. But Taylor didn't know one thing. When she walked out of that house, she left something behind, something she had not planned for. In a back bedroom, hiding under the covers, Reagan's 3-year-old daughter. She had heard everything. She had seen nothing. She was physically unharmed, and she was entirely alone. At 9:47 a.m., the 911 call came in. Taylor Parker, on a highway outside DeKalb, told the dispatcher she had just given birth. The baby was not breathing. State troopers arrived. She was performing CPR on the newborn. They rushed her to McCurtain Memorial Hospital in Oklahoma. When doctors examined her, the story collapsed almost immediately. Her HCG levels confirmed she had not recently been pregnant. An ultrasound confirmed she had no uterus. A physical exam confirmed she had not given birth. She refused further examination. She would not let
What's wrong, man?
I had my baby and I'm trying to get to Idabel Hospital.
Idabel?
Yeah, my husband's up there.
Why aren't you going to St. Michael's or somewhere?
We're going to Idabel. It's where my doctor is. I need to get up there.
I need to call LifeNet or something like that. I can't let you drive. Let me get LifeNet on.
Taking so long. Oh God.
Oh, it surely doesn't look like a baby came out of there. It doesn't look like she had a baby.
It doesn't?
No,
Okay.
does not look like she had a baby.
doctors near her. Meanwhile, 30 miles away, Reagan's mother, Jessica, had grown frantic. Reagan wasn't answering her phone. Jessica drove to the house. The garage door was open. What she found inside, the streaks of blood stretching from room to room, the silence. And then, in the back bedroom, her granddaughter hiding under the covers, would become the evidence that connected two crime scenes 30 miles apart. And what the DNA would confirm within hours would seal Taylor Parker's fate before the day was over. This case is a study in digital premeditation. The search history alone forms a near-complete blueprint of intent. Taylor Parker searched how to simulate pregnancy, how to obtain a silicone belly, how to locate a birth mother, how to perform a C-section, and how to deliver preterm. These searches were sequential, dated, specific. They were not curiosity, they were construction. The silicone belly was recovered as physical evidence. The fake ultrasounds were presented at trial. The performance, 10 months of pregnancy content, medical appointments that never happened, due dates that kept shifting, was reconstructed through messages, social media posts, and family testimony. The scalpel is the crucial forensic detail. This was not a kitchen knife used in panic. A scalpel is a surgical instrument. Its presence at the scene signals premeditated intent to perform a C-section on a living victim. Prosecutors argued this was a planned extraction, not a spontaneous attack. The pathology was devastating. 113 sharp force injuries, 39 blunt force injuries, 5 skull fractures. The medical examiner found Reagan was alive during the extraction, fighting, sustaining defensive wounds. This was prolonged violence against a conscious, struggling victim. The hospital examination of Taylor Parker provided final medical confirmation. No uterus, no recent pregnancy, no physiological capacity for childbirth. The evidence was not circumstantial, it was anatomical. DNA confirmed the baby was Reagan's. Braxlin say Hancock was pronounced dead at the hospital. Bruises on her scalp, bruises on the umbilical cord. Some of the blows Taylor inflicted on Reagan's abdomen had landed on the baby too. But the forensic evidence raised a question that even the most experienced investigators struggled to answer. How do you plan something this elaborate, 10 months of deception, surgical research, a targeted victim, and believe you will get away with it? The answer required looking at Taylor Parker's entire history, not just this crime, but everything that came before it. What makes a person do this? Taylor Parker's deceptions were not new. Before East Texas, before Wade Griffin, before Reagan Simmons Hancock, she spent years telling friends in another town she had multiple sclerosis, that she was being treated for cancer, that she had a brain tumor, that she suffered a stroke. Each illness was a tool: sympathy, attention, care. One former friend, Abby Bell, described the pattern. After it kept happening and happening and happening over and over, I started being like, maybe she's not really sick. Another friend, Kenzie Bright, cut Taylor off after Taylor became fixated on Kenzie's own pregnancy, wanting to plan the gender reveal, asking to log into her pregnancy tracking app, wanting to monitor progress. Taylor Parker didn't just want a baby, she wanted the experience of pregnancy, the attention, the celebration, the identity, and when her body made it impossible, she constructed a fiction. When the fiction began to collapse, she escalated from performance to murder. This is the logic of a mind that sees other people not as people, but as objects. Reagan Simmons Hancock was not a friend to Taylor. She was a body carrying what Taylor wanted, a solution to a problem Taylor had created. The search history tells the rest. Taylor was not acting on impulse. She was working through a plan, and the plan required Reagan to die. The trial began in September 2022. Taylor Parker sat in a Bowie County courtroom while prosecutors showed the jury the search history, the silicone belly, the fake ultrasounds, the scalpel. They showed the 911 call, Taylor's voice, calm, claiming she'd just given birth. They showed the numbers: 113 sharp force injuries, 39 blunt force injuries, 5 skull fractures. The jury deliberated for less than an hour. Guilty, capital murder, kidnapping. On November 9, 2022, Taylor Parker was sentenced to death, the youngest woman on death row in Texas, the first woman sentenced to death in the state in 12 years. At sentencing, Reagan's mother stood in court and described her daughter, 21 years old, a mother, a wife, a woman who welcomed people. She spoke of Braxlyn Sage, who never took a single breath outside her mother's body. Taylor Parker showed no emotion. She has never explained why. She has never apologized. She has never spoken Reagan Simmons Hancock's name. Her appeals were denied. The Texas Court of Criminal Appeals in 2025, the U.S. Supreme Court in May 2026. She remains on death row. Reagan Simmons Hancock was 21 years old. She was 36 weeks pregnant. She welcomed a woman into her life who repaid that welcome with a scalpel and a hammer. Her 3-year-old daughter survived hiding under covers, hearing things no child should hear. She will carry that forever. Somewhere in the wreckage of this case, there is a question that does not have a clean answer. How do you stop someone who has built their entire identity on lies, who is so thoroughly convinced the fiction is real that they will kill to keep it? Taylor Parker wanted a baby. She wanted the pregnancy. She wanted the attention and the celebration and the story she had written for herself. Reagan Simmons Hancock was in the way. Subscribe to Dark Echoes for more true crime stories, unsolved mysteries, and real-life horror cases. Share this with someone who should know Reagan's name. Rest in peace, Reagan. Rest in peace, Braxlyn.